What's up, everybody? The Hard Pass Gang is back. Let's ride.
Let's let's ride,
What's up, Remy? How you doing, man?
dude. It's the literally the best week of the year.
It
Literally
is.
the best week of the year. We
It
had
is. It's. We got football.
football,
It's here.
all kinds, every kind of football.
So today we're going to talk a lot of football, and only football. Actually, today is the live that we are going to talk. We're gonna do a little college. We're gonna dabble a little week one. Talk a little week two. Nothing. I already kind of looked at week two. Nothing crazy on the board for that. We are going to talk a lot of NFL football. So, that being said, of course, NFL season starts in 2 whole days, Remy.
2 days, dude, and we get a really good game to start it up.
What's up, Julia? What's up, Alan? Thanks for y'all stopping by.
Football, baby.
First off, before we start talking sports, let's start talking about how was everybody's weekend? Did everybody have a good weekend? Remy, how was your extended weekend?
It was beautiful, dude. It was beautiful. I ended up not going to the Carolina game. I ended up watching that one from home.
Okay.
But did turn around the next morning and make my way up to Darlington to watch the NASCAR race. Good race. Carolina won. Got the win in for that one. Got the race in, so that was pretty good. And then just did nothing on Monday. Absolutely nothing. I mean, it was tough, man. I will say, like, the race was a blast. The race was a lot of fun, but I don't know what the age cutoff is for sleeping on the ground, but I'm past whatever that age is.
You're struggling.
So, like,
struggling to sleep on the ground.
Bro. Spine is in knots, dude. Yeah, so 33, sometime before 33 is the cutoff where, like, just sleeping on the ground is acceptable. Getting up that morning was like physically standing up that morning was tough. So I was ready to get home, got back and stretched out on the old bed. Took me about a 2-hour nap. Didn't sleep well, but the race was a lot of fun. It was pretty wild. A lot of contending cars had issues, blown motors, catching on fire. It was crazy. So we had a blast with that. And Carolina won.
There you go.
Carolina won. It might not have been pretty, but they won.
There you go. Allison says, Slackman getting the boys to the lake for the summer. Allison, if I was still in South Carolina, you know for a fact that we would be at that lake having a good old time.
I will say I went a grand total of 0 times.
Wow.
0.
Yeah, I heard you had a good old time with Jake and Al. I heard T Goody.
T Goody was in the
building. T Goody was in the building. That's cool. Sounds like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sure. Terry's the only planner. Hey, I pride myself in trying to get people together. I went to the mountains. We went to snow. It's like a mountain called Snowbowl Mountain, and it's above Flagstaff. Did that with a bunch of work. It's like a little work trip. Also, Camille came with me, and then their significant others was there. Played some board games, drank some beers, played ping pong. Went to a place called Bearizona, which was pretty badass. I'm going to post some pictures of that. It's like a drive-through zoo. And then at the end of it, it's like a little, like a walk-around zoo. So we're driving around, and there's giant white wolves walking around the car. Bears right next to the car, just like scratching their bellies and shit. This shit was pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie.
Dude.
I thought it was going to be some janky thing. Went there. It was a pretty legit thing. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How many times I go to zoos and none of the damn animals are out of their enclosures? They're just back there chilling. You can't even see them.
Yeah. I have a video of 2 grizzly bears fighting each other.
Like you do.
They were pissed off each other apparently, or they were just playing. I don't know, but they look pretty upset.
You didn't want to get in there and break it up, or?
No. So that was cool. And then got a little sick on the last night, but that's that's neither here nor there.
It's not a
Came
trip
back-
unless you get sick.
Watched a lot of football, of course. But yeah, so
Your
Arkansas
phone
kinda
must
gives
have
us-
been dead on Saturday or
um,
out of service or something.
so yeah, so I didn't have any service where I was at.
I didn't
Man,
hear from you once on Saturday.
Yeah, for some reason I was getting everybody's texts, but I was only on Wi-Fi and it wouldn't let me send them out.
I was like, the Carolina game's on. Terry's not calling me, talking about every other play. Like, what is going on? I tried calling you, nothing. I'm
Yeah,
like, damn, dude.
I had no service, so he's a hermit per usual. What up? What up, Mr. Riddle?
The Bears
Bears
can smell the administration. You hear
Facts.
that? Bears. Now you're
But
putting
yeah.
the whole show in jeopardy, Terry.
I definitely think that if anybody ever comes out, and it's like the house was like an hour away from the Grand Canyon, which we didn't go do that. But if y'all ever come out to visit, we'll get like an Airbnb up in Flagstaff. The coolest part about it all was it was like 80 during the day and it was 55 at night. So we had like a fire pit going and stuff like that.
That's nice. That's good weather right there.
Yeah. Well, oh my God. 30. There he is. There he is. Built for it.
They've already started, dude.
Built for it. But yeah, so I hope everybody had a good weekend. You know, football was great. We'll start talking some college football, and then of course we're gonna breeze through college football because we got a lot of NFL stuff to get to. But did you watch any college football this weekend?
I watched all the college football this weekend. Best game of the weekend for me, App State, North Carolina. Wild football game. Absolute insanity, dude.
I think it was pretty crazy, but I think it was just a lot of bad football getting played in that game.
Hey, don't get me wrong. The defense was non-existent. I mean, App State scored a touchdown in 9 seconds. So, but it was just such a wild ending. App State jumped out to an early lead, looked like they were going to have control of the game. Then North Carolina scored, I think, like 31 straight points or something like that. So I was like, North Carolina's going to run away with it. I turned it off for a little bit. I come back, it's 7-point game. Like they're back in it, and it's just touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And then they go for the 2 to potentially win the game. Wide open, misses him. Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Still get the ball back, still score, miss the second 2-point conversion that would have tied it back up. It was just a wild ride of a football game.
It was a crazy game.
Ride.
I think it's all started on Thursday night. The West Virginia Pitt game was a crazy football game. Also, Purdue, Penn State was a great football game.
Yep.
It was just a lot of great football games starting out.
Really good week one. Good week one.
Very surprisingly good week one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if there's any other games that, of course you had
Florida, Utah.
That game ended at the very end.
Crazy ending.
Ohio State came back and beat Notre Dame, which we'll talk about that one here in a second. Georgia beat the brakes off of Oregon. Not a surprise there.
Oof. I didn't expect it to be that bad. I mean,
East Carolina missed an extra point to go to overtime.
Yeah,
North Carolina State.
And missed the field goal to win it.
Missed the field goal to win it. Arkansas ended up beating Cincinnati.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good ball game. Arkansas was pretty much in control of that game the whole throughout. They did let Cincinnati come back in, and Arkansas looked pretty good. I am worried about the Gamecocks. Arkansas has that giant quarterback, which when everything breaks down, he just kind of runs for the first down. Sorry, I'm turning off this audio on my other screen, but yeah, it was a lot of great football. Virginia Tech lost Old Dominion,
like you do
on Friday night. That was
coaches getting stuck in elevators, like you do. Wild, bro.
A wild game.
Yeah. Good. I mean, and then what? We had the LSU Florida State game. Came down to the last second, missed extra point, blocked.
Dude, that game was my favorite game, actually, because they were just making shit up in that game.
LSU is a wild place, bro. I didn't get to watch the whole game because we were at the race, but I went back and watched stuff. They lost, a defensive tackle to a knee injury because he was celebrating.
Yeah.
Of course, they lost the game on a block extra point. Their 5-star wide receiver, like you told me, went and deleted all of his LSU stuff off of his Instagram after one game.
Yep.
So pretty wild times. A lot of people just giving Brian Kelly all the shit in the world for the fake accent. So gotta love that. Tough times. The SEC went undefeated outside of that. So LSU's
Yeah, that was the last
a week
game that,
late.
of course, they lost. Georgia Tech. So, and then, of course, the Clemson game. Clemson did not impress me at all. Georgia Tech's a bad football team with hardly any talent. But, I mean,
That's
Clemson.
terrible.
Clemson's defense is good. DJ is pretty bad, and I don't care who you are. All you gotta do is watch him. He's a pretty bad football player.
Yeah, I don't think we see DJ all year, and I don't think that's a very hot take. I know that we've got some Clemson fans that watch us. If you just watch DJ throw the ball, it's not. It doesn't always come out clean. He's just inaccurate.
Mhm.
Also, ESPN, bro, we got to do better with your coverage. They're out here trying to tell us that DJ at one point weighed almost 270 pounds last year. What? Yeah, it was in the article today. I read another article. They're like, yeah, he dropped 35 pounds in the offseason. I'm like, there's no way that man weighed 270 pounds last year.
Apparently he did.
Way. No, he's
and they're also
he was
saying
as big as their left tackle.
And they're also saying that Clemson plays a tough schedule, which
one of the tough. They're like year in, year out. Clemson plays one of the toughest schedules. Just
lies
all up and down.
Tell me lies. Tell me. In Georgia, so Georgia beat the shit out of Oregon. Did you watch any of that game?
I did. I turned it off pretty quickly though, because it just wasn't even competitive. It was. I mean, they scored 7 straight touchdowns.
Yeah,
7 straight touchdowns. I can't even remember what the score was. When
Oregon's not even a top 25 team.
They might not be, and Bo Nix is not a good football player.
No, Bo Nix is bad. How are you ranking? He was bad at Auburn. And Auburn had way more talent.
I don't know. Bo Nix, dude. Yeah, well, you can rest on that if you want.
Did you watch the Ohio State game?
I watched a good bit of it. I didn't watch all of it. I caught like most of the second half. I turned it on. What it was, I mean,
I'm going to let you know two things.
Notre Dame was down like by 3. I was like, damn, they're actually in it. And then
Notre Dame was winning. Notre Dame was up 10-7 for the majority of the game, for the first half at least.
Yeah.
And I watched it with some Ohio State fans, Roger, shout out Roger. He's a big Ohio State guy. And everything he kept saying was coming to light. Like, he's like, Shroud, he doesn't have dog in him. He shrinks. He always goes 3 and out in the first possession of each half. And like, it's so weird because Shroud had a really bad game. There's a couple things that I saw about this game. One, the game legitimately should have been 31-3. Ohio State was playing like straight up ass cheeks. Like, they couldn't have played any worse football game, and they still won 21-10. Notre Dame, by the way, Notre Dame is maybe a top 20 football team this year.
Yeah, I mean, their defense was good.
They have a good front 7.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up getting tired and they ended up getting pushed around by a better Ohio State team. Their quarterback, not good, not great, not even heard of. They literally was running a wide receiver, number 29, as a walk-on, was their outside threat.
That's tough.
So
that's tough breaks.
I think it was just one of those games where I think Ohio State's a top, they're one of the best teams in the country, and I still think that. They kind of just they started just handing the ball off to their running backs and just kind of mauling them. Notre Dame is not a good football team, though. I will say that. They did nothing to impress me. Notre Dame, however, does have a really good tight end. He is an animal. And Ohio State, their star wide receiver guy, he messed his leg
injured
up
early.
So I
haven't seen anything on him yet as far as how serious it is. But yeah, Smith and Jigba got hurt early. But I mean, that team's still just so loaded with talent on the offensive side of the ball. I was expecting for some sort of like explosion from Ohio State at some point. But I'll give Notre Dame credit. I think if you're a Notre Dame fan, the Marcus Freeman era with that defense, I mean, he's a defensive guy. So you got some hope there, but their offense has a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
A long way to go. But they kept the game closer than I thought. I thought Ohio State was going to just absolutely run away with it. And, they kept it close. Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., the running back
Like,
Henderson.
if you go
Stroud,
back
like,
and you look, that
Stroud.
the game couldn't have got any better for them. Like, they had like fluky first play of the game. One guy made like a 5-tip pass.
I saw that
caught.
one, yeah.
You know, it was just so weird. It is what it is.
And they only end up with 10 points.
Yeah, they only end up with 10 points. So Arkansas beat Cincinnati. Like I said earlier, I think Arkansas is going to be a tough team. They do have some injury concerns coming into South Carolina. South Carolina played terrible. They beat Georgia State, who, by the way, won 8 football games last year. People forget that. They're a well-coached team that doesn't have that much talent.
I'm not gonna sit up here and defend the South Carolina. At the end of the day, it's still Georgia State. You should dominate that team. That's a well-coached team. They play hungry. They came out and they played hungry. And I will say almost every one of my fears for South Carolina this season came to fruition in that game.
Yeah.
Everything I was concerned about kind of it all kept unfolding. It's like, first off, the offensive line. We all knew last year, like, the offensive line just was the biggest weakness. And it's like, you gotta address that. And we showed it in this game. It's still not there. They can't block.
They should just hire me to be their offensive line coach. I could get you to do better.
You can't be worse. We clearly were the far superior, like, athletic team, and we couldn't get anything going.
Couldn't move the line.
Couldn't move the line. Our running back, I will say the big bright spot for me was how explosive Marshawn Lloyd looked. He looked the real deal. Like, finally, what we were expecting out of him when he came to South Carolina. He looks the part. But we couldn't block. He's getting hit in the backfield, so he's having to break tackles in the backfield just to gain yards. Just to gain yardage. And it was tough to see. Spencer Rattler couldn't really develop time in the pocket because we couldn't block long enough. So he's scrambling for his life. Now, everyone wanted to talk about Spencer Rattler coming into the game, and he's the big question mark with South Carolina and everything. The arm talent is above and beyond anything we've maybe ever seen at the school. He can make throws that most of our quarterbacks in the past have just never been able to make. The issue with Rattler in this game and what he's run into in the past is sometimes he overdoes it. He tries to make big things happen when they're not there. And I'll say, like, the first interception is somewhat forgivable. The second one was just a play that can't happen. It's just, especially when you're going to be trying to win games in the SEC this year. That second interception was an easy first down. He could have ran for it. He could have dumped it off to the underneath guy. And he tries to make the big play and throw the ball 20-plus yards downfield. He throws it right to a corner. It didn't even have to move. He just stood right where the ball went. So it was like mistakes like that. It's like, that's my concern with Rattler. I think he's an amazing athlete, amazing arm. But where are we mentally where we don't make those bad decisions? You're going to throw picks, but it's those that are just blatant. Like, we had a first down.
I agree there, Remy, and I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be that guy. He's clearly that dude. His whole entire career so far, that's been him, and we're just gonna have to live with those plays.
Yeah,
and
I think it's just,
I don't know what kind of game everybody else watched. But if we moved the ball at all, which we didn't hardly do, it was because of Spencer Rattler shaking a sack, spinning out, dropping a dot 30 yards down the sidelines, like rolling out, throwing that ball to Jalen Brooks 50 yards on the run. Like that, I was like, bro, I don't care. I can deal with a pick or two every now and then. I definitely think I would like to see him tidy it up. But we're South Carolina, bro. We ain't seen somebody throw a football like that ever. And I'm like, you know what? He passed the eye test to me.
I just want to know, and we all had a lot of, like, doubts when they mentioned Marcus Satterfield was coming back as the offensive coordinator. And I sit there and I watch the game and I'm like, what's the game plan? What are the schemes? What's our route combinations? Like, not once did I see somebody just, like, open. We weren't scheming people open at all. And it's like every now and then, dude, someone's just got to get open. Yeah. And it was so hard for us to win those one-on-one matchups that I'm like, where's the pick plays? Where's the slant routes? Where's the drag routes? Just get somebody open. We don't have enough time to run long developing pass plays. And then our biggest mismatch, I think, that we have on our offense is Jaheim Bell. Why was he our third running back in this game? Like, what was the game plan? He got 6 toss plays. They were the same play over and over again, just tossing the ball with the shotgun. We didn't throw him the ball, I think, once or twice in the entire game. I'm like, this dude is a matchup nightmare. We saw it in the bowl game, and we're running toss plays to a tight end. We've got running backs. We don't have to run toss plays to a tight end. We got running backs.
Yeah,
give them.
I mean, just so far what I've seen, I think we end up losing. I mean, what do you think? What do you think the score is the Arkansas game?
I mean, dude, I'm gonna be honest. Like, South Carolina got a little lucky. We blocked the 2 punts for touchdowns. If you take those off the board, it's a 21-14 game. It's a 1-touchdown game. And we played against a quarterback that threw 15 straight incompletions.
Okay, so what do you think the score is going to be?
I think Arkansas is a much better team than what we faced this week. I think Arkansas beats us by – I think they beat us by 2 touchdowns. I will say 28-14.
28-14. I think it's going to be like a 35-17 game. And that's okay. That's okay.
No, I mean, Arkansas is clearly a better team. I'm not going to get disheartened if we lose to a ranked SEC team.
We can sit here and talk till we're blue in the face about how bad our offensive line is and how bad Marcus Satterfield is. We all know these things. We've been saying them since last year.
Yeah.
That's not going to change until we make changes. I'm sorry.
It just what worries me is it's like I feel like we're going back down that same road we went down with Muschamp. It's like, dude, I know he's your guy.
Special teams are good.
I mean, yeah, special teams was aces. But like, I know Satterfield's your guy, but I mean, Beamer's going to have to wake up one day and realize you can't sink yourself because you want your guys on the staff. You just got to move on, dude. If the offense stays stagnant like that,
he'll fire the guy
half the season. You got to let him go. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's too much talent on that team. And listen, I get it. We're not bringing in a ton of 5-star recruits, but there is enough talent on that offense that we should be a good offense. We should not struggle to score points against Georgia State. It just shouldn't happen. Mm-hmm. And we did. We struggled mightily to score on them.
I mean, for me to sit here and look y'all in the face and tell you that if I were to predict South Carolina beating Arkansas in week 2 at Arkansas, which, by the way, I've seen way better football teams go into Arkansas, play against way shittier Arkansas teams and lose there because we used to play them every year. That was our out of conference rival, out of East Conference rival. So it's just a tough place to play anyway. But I didn't see what I needed to see to think we could go on the road. And
we would have a chance to win
you know what I'm saying?
Game.
I didn't see what I needed to see. So if we do show up and we get some shit to fall our way, we're going to play a perfect game. No turnovers. We're going to have to make some crazy kicks. We're going to have to punt the ball well. We're going to play defense well. I think our defense is good. I think it's a little underrated, actually. I really like our defense. Will it keep us in the game long enough? We'll see. I think Arkansas is, like I said, a very talented football team playing at home. It's going to be – and it's a fucking noon kickoff. So –
I still have excitement for the season. I'm just
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Because we saw a South Carolina team couldn't play any worse and still won 35-4, so whatever it was. Yeah. They got lucky. We blocked the field goals, yes. Yeah. But even if you didn't pick up the field goals and return it, there's a 2. I don't know. I think I want to see Satterfield do good. I do, honestly. I want to see him make progression as offense coordinator, and I want to see our offensive line coach do well. I just don't see it happening.
I just don't see it happening. So
they're going to be asleep. Honestly, I think so. If it's a noon kick, then it's a 11 a.m. kick there, right? It's 11 a.m. kick at Arkansas.
Yeah, 11
which is weird. Why would they ever do that?
I don't know.
Why they would just be like, all right, we'll just push y'all to 3:30 kick, and it'll be a 2:30 kick there. It's a 9 a.m. kickoff for me, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna
get to wake up to that heartbreak. You might want to sleep in a little, bud. Just wake up around.
Honestly, it's a 9 a.m. kick for me, and Tottenham played 8:30 against Man City. So I'm gonna have one screen watching my favorite soccer team get beat by Man City, and the other screen I'll be watching South Carolina.
That's a tough start to your weekend, bud.
Tell you what, it's a real whack in the knackers there.
Dude, it only goes up from there, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You get to follow it up by watching the
Listen.
Panthers lose on Sunday.
honestly, the Panthers are a 10 a.m. kick for me on Sunday, and they play. We're going to talk some NFL here in a minute, but I just want to wrap up college football. I miss college football. I appreciate college football like I haven't done in quite some time.
Oh, the college football playoff since the last time we met.
Yeah.
12 teams approved. We're going to get an expanded college football
it's finally
playoff.
happening. So
thank God.
Bless up. Thank you.
God. You want to talk about moves that needed to be made. Holy shit, boys.
They're trying to push it for as soon as 2024.
I know, and they need to. I mean, it just makes so much sense in so many ways for them to do it. I'm sorry. Let's just make this happen. I don't care what it takes.
And I think that's kind of got me a little, I don't know. I just think having the same 4 teams every year is just boring as fuck. Gamecocks over under 6 wins. I think we said we go 7 and I said they go 7-5 and they win the bowl game.
Yeah.
So 8.
That was kind of my prediction was 7-5 with the bowl win. There's still some very winnable games on this schedule. They play some bad teams this year. We do get the luck of the draw, and we get some very bad teams on our schedule.
One of them, the Clemson Tigers.
I don't know if we're winning that one. But.
No, we're not. We're going to lose that one probably by 20. But hey, whatever happens this year, at least I'm kind of at peace with it, to be honest with you, because I enjoy watching Spencer Rattler throw the football. Whether it's to the right team or the wrong team, damn if that motherfucker can spin it.
It's better than watching old.
Like I sat there because I had to watch it on my iPad. I was just sitting there like, this is what it feels like.
To actually have somebody can throw the ball.
To have a guy who could throw football. Perfect. Like to have a guy who could make all the throws. It was fun. Clemson will have a losing season. All right, Alan. You're just shooting from
unlikely.
The hip. You're just shooting from the hip at this point.
That's unlikely. Have you seen their schedule?
So, Remy.
Yes, sir.
It's Christmas time, brother.
It is my favorite holiday, opening kickoff weekend for the NFL.
NFL is here. It's jam-packed sports. I mean, baseball, football. Yeah, I love soccer, so I watch soccer. NFL, like every day you got something.
NASCAR playoffs.
I watch Formula One, of course. A guy this weekend looked at me and goes, so at the house, I walked downstairs with my iPad and it was like 8 a.m. and we're sitting there watching soccer. And he goes, Terry, I was like, I'm watching F1. And the guy looks at me and goes, how do you keep up with it all? He goes, how do you know it's
jam-packed schedule?
Jam-packed schedule. I gotta watch it all. But we gotta start with Thursday night, Remy. Thursday night, it all begins.
We get a hell of a game.
Buffalo Bills. No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. They're going to the Rams. And
defending Super Bowl champion Rams.
Pretty crazy. Buffalo is a road favorite in this football game.
All right. Okay. So first off, I know you're a Buffalo guy. I know it's your team and you like to throw that in my face.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little overrated. Everyone is picking them to be the Super Bowl favorites. They're going to win the Super Bowl. They're currently favored to beat the defending champion Rams on the road to open the season. They're a little overrated. They won what?
But
11 games last year? 12 games last year? No, 11 games last year.
But I will say, Remy,
they were 11-6 football.
If they go on the road and beat the Rams week 1, look out.
I mean, that's huge. That's massive. Yes. But I think we got to calm down just a little. Just a little. I still think they're one of the best teams. They're maybe the best team in the AFC. But I mean, we're saying, dude, they're favorites for the Super Bowl. They're going to win all these games. They went 11-6 last year. They were not that good, So to come in as favorites over a team that just won the Super Bowl is a little wild to me.
Yeah, I give you that.
That's all I'm saying. This is defending the defending world champions, who I think just got better than they were last year, with the additions of like Allen Robinson and stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy to me. But
I like the Bills. I like the Rams. Both of these teams, this could be a Super Bowl matchup. To be honest,
literally, I mean, I honestly like if I were to put money on it right now, this would be my Super Bowl preview. Like these, I think
Bills
are
Super
the
Bowl.
two favorites I would say to make it.
Matt Beard in the house. Remy moved to
I'm
Arizona.
on my way, dude.
A Bills Super Bowl.
Bills Super Bowl. If that happens, I'm gonna be very, very sad. Like I said, I do think the Bills are very much in the running for the best team in the AFC, and this very well could be a Super Bowl preview, week one. Just thank God we get a good game to kick the season off.
Yeah.
First off, especially because Thursday nights, we all know if you watch Thursday night football, usually you get some stinkers in there. You get some pretty bad games. But we start off the season on a high note.
Hopefully, it won't be like the week one rust. Hopefully it'll be good football.
And this is I think the first season that what I'm really interested in week one is to see how bad that rust is, because a lot of teams did not play their starters hardly at all in preseason. And that's a little different from the norm. Normally you got some good reps in with the in the preseason, but most teams elected not to do that this year to keep their teams healthy and not hurt any of their starters. So we'll see. I do think you're going to see a little bit of rust from some of these teams just because they haven't had live reps in an actual game in 6 months, So we'll see. But who you got in this one? Who's winning? Buffalo?
I think the Rams win at home. I'm a Buffalo fan, but I think the Rams win at home in this. I think it's going to be a good football game, though. It's going to be, I don't know. I want to say it's high flying, but I'm going to say that and watch it be like kind of a duddy dud because the rust. But we'll see.
Final score.
Anything's possible with Josh Allen. The final score is going to be 28-24.
The big news here for the Rams is it does not look like Aaron Donald's going to get suspended for trying to murder people
with two helmets.
With two helmets.
Preseason
so that's big. That's big for them.
What's your score?
I also think the Rams win, but I have 27-24.
You're a punk.
That was my dude. I had it already in my head before you answered.
All right, guys. There's times where Remy says things, and I sit and think, I'm like, how are we just so close on so many things?
Great minds think alike, dude.
And then he likes Rudy Gobert, and I'm like, he's dead to me.
Ouch. I hope they win a championship. You will praise me.
I won't. I will not. Roxy,
I just hope they win a playoff series. That's her world. I walk around.
Look at her. Look at her.
Those are my pillows. That's where I sleep.
Yep. She's like, nah. Done. She's sleeping there tonight. And then we're going to talk about week one, and then we're going to talk about overall what we think how the season's going to shake out, and then we're going to give our bold NFL predictions. That's how this is about to go down. So we're going to start week one. We have Browns-Panthers. The Panthers are a 1.5-point favorite at home. Of course, it's a big revenge game.
I love revenge games. I'm a big revenge game
for Baker
guy,
Mayfield.
And this is Baker revenge game. What a great job by the NFL, by the way, with this scheduling. So we get Baker revenge game. We get Russell Wilson revenge game week one. What was the other? There's another revenge game out there somewhere. But yeah, what a just fantastic job by the NFL of scheduling this week one slate of NFL games. So Cleveland, Carolina, of course, Cleveland without Deshaun Watson, throwing Jacoby Brissett out there.
Mm-hmm.
The Panthers pulling this one off?
I think we do, actually.
Panthers I think winning this football game?
I think we win this football game. And it's going to be an ugly one. It's going to be the over-under is 42. Smash that under.
Under.
I think the Panthers win 18-10.
18-10. Ugly final score. Dude, my heart wants to take the Panthers on this one just because I know Jacoby Brissett's not very good.
Yeah, I mean they're going to run. The Cleveland's still going to make some moves running the ball, but dude, our defense is actually pretty solid.
Yeah, but so is theirs.
No, their defense is really good, but we have way more talent.
So is theirs, and I just can't help but I'm getting this image in my head of Myles Garrett going against your rookie left tackle and just 4 sacks. Like just nightmare fuel. So I'm going to go with the Browns. I am also going to go with the low score. I think the Browns. I don't really think they're going to score 3 touchdowns, but I think I'm going to go. Maybe they get a defensive touchdown. 21-10 final. They beat y'all 21-10.
You think Jacoby Brissett's going to lead 3 touchdown drives?
No, I said they get a defensive touchdown. I think he might lead 2 touchdown drives. And by lead, I mean Nick Chubb has 75 rushing yards.
That is some crazy stat. I am very bullish on the Panthers, but
Baker's throwing a pick 6.
Baker's
throwing a pick 6.
14-7. That's what I'm thinking more along the lines of that, Captain. But the disrespect that you just threw on my football team, I don't think you understand how talented the Panther team is. I understand you understand how bad the coaching staff is. But the talent, Christian McCaffrey, if he plays football, we win football games. Christian McCaffrey made everybody think for the first 4 weeks last year that Sam Darnold was a good quarterback.
You got a rookie left tackle blocking Myles Garrett.
Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in the game.
It's going to be a problem. He's going to have to get through Myles Garrett. He's just going to be in the backfield all day. All day long. I got faith in the left tackle going forward. But I watched him in the preseason get beat on back-to-back snaps by a third stringer for sacks.
Yeah.
And that's not Myles Garrett.
That's preseason, bro.
Arguably the best.
You're honestly sitting there and putting faith in preseason?
I'm just saying.
I'm saying we can go pull up stats of preseason.
I'm just saying, when I see backups and third stringers beating you, I don't got a lot of faith in you stopping Myles Garrett.
You don't got a lot of faith in the top 5 tackle.
Y'all better be chipping. Y'all better be putting a tight end over there. I'm just saying you got a game plan for that. Listen, Myles Garrett's out here beating every left tackle in the game. So not just rookies. He beats every left tackle. So call me crazy for thinking the rookie might have a tough day ahead of him going against arguably the best defensive player in football. So I'm just saying.
You also don't think the Panthers have a really good defensive line and a good front seven and probably matches Cleveland's great secondary? The Panthers have just every bit of good secondary.
I think you have a really good team, and I don't.
And you like Jacoby Brissett over Baker Mayfield?
No, I just like their team as a whole over your team.
Okay,
I think Baker's better than Brissett, clearly, but I think their team's just better than your team. Remember, you got to remember, ESPN had y'all ranked 32nd in the NFL.
Do I need to Google how many Browns wins they have in the opening game of the season?
But streaks are meant to be broken.
And they're on the road.
Streaks are meant to be broken. I'm just saying.
Listen, y'all heard me rant about how bad I think this Carolina Panthers coach staff is. I think this is a damn slam dunk.
And that's the other thing too. You're not taking into account that your head coach is still Matt Rule. You think when Adam Gase was our head coach, I had faith the Dolphins were going to win a single damn game? No, it didn't matter if we were playing a worse team than that.
Believe me, coming from a Panther fan, I know how bad we can be. Christian McCaffrey playing football makes us look like a playoff team, Remy.
Yeah, until he twists his ankle.
But it ain't gonna be this week. It ain't gonna be this week.
Could be. We'll see.
Moving on to the next game. It says Remy's an idiot and doesn't have any clue what's going on in football, apparently. Saints Falcons.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna write these down.
Please do.
Write these down. We're coming back to this next week.
Panthers lost pass rush. They did, Alan. Y'all got a really good pass rusher.
All right. So we got Rams, Bills. We both went Rams.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Rams.
Bro, is something wrong with your wrist?
Rams.
Why are you writing like that, bro?
That's how I hold a pen. What was it? So you got the losing Panthers
at home,
and I got
versus Jacoby Brissett and the Browns.
I got the winning
who hasn't won a week 1 game, I don't think ever.
So I'm clearly up in this one, but continue.
If the Panthers lose this game, I'm not going to watch another game.
That's tough, dude. You can't put yourself in that situation.
I am.
You can't.
Man,
You play
so we're gonna
worse
shock the
teams
world.
the rest of this year. You got 2 games against the Falcons you get to look forward to.
Falcons Saints next game. Saints are a 5.5-point favorite. Who cares about this football game?
I mean,
honestly,
the Saints win because the
Maybe.
Falcons are maybe the worst team in the league. So good news for
Maybe.
the Falcons. Reports were that Drake London looks like he's ready to go. Whether that makes a difference or not, who knows? They still have Marcus Mariota starting at quarterback. So, and who knows?
I agree, Alan.
I think the Falcons are a bad team.
Yeah.
I think the Falcons are one of the worst teams in the league. I think the Saints will win this game. The Saints, while I'm not a big Jameis Winston fan, the Saints do have a lot of firepower on the offensive side of the ball. Now, Jameis very well could repeat his 5,000-yard season, but it also could come at the expense of 30 more interceptions. So,
well, I mean, I'm going to take the Saints, but who cares? Moving on to the next game, which we're going to talk more about how we see the outlook on these teams after we talk week 1. Saints D will carry. I agree. The Saints defense, they do have a really good defense. 49ers Bears at the Bears. The 49ers are a 7-point favorite. We'll see how old Trey looks.
I mean, both quarterbacks come in with questions. I mean, Justin Fields.
The Bears are terrible.
Justin Fields still has a lot to prove to me. I just don't. Nothing about him last year jumped out to me. But the Bears are awful. And the 49ers, while Trey Lance is a massive question mark, they're a good team around him. So I think the 49ers win this. I already wrote you down for 49ers. I'm assuming you're picking the 49ers to win the football game.
I am.
Good one. Same.
I don't think the Bears are – it's going to be a long year for the Bears.
The Bears will have Roquan Smith, however. So what that means, I don't know.
I got to get ticket again. I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. I got to get the Sunday ticket thing.
I'm going to be spending a lot of Sundays in a Buffalo Wild Wings, so pray for me.
You can get the mobile Sunday ticket, I think.
I tried to look into it. It still says if you can't get actual direct TV at your house, then you qualify for mobile. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'll just wait till next year. I'll waste away in a Buffalo Wild Wings in my sadness.
Steelers Bengals, great football game.
Going to be a good football game. Mitch Trubisky finally announced as the starter officially today. They released a depth chart with him at number 1. They made him a captain, and they were still like, well, we haven't named a starter yet. Well, I mean, clearly you have. So it's the Mitchell Trubisky show to start the season. Honestly, not too surprised by that. Pickett played really well in the preseason, but why throw him out there when you sign Mitchell Trubisky for this reason? I still don't think it's enough because I think the
Cincinnati's a 6.5-point favorite.
I think Cincinnati's just going to be a really good team.
Bengals by 2 teams.
So I think Bengals win. It's my boy.
I like the Bengals, but as you say that the Bills are overrated, I think the Bengals are slightly overrated.
You're taking the Steelers in this one?
No, I'm taking the Bengals.
It sounded like you were taking the Steelers there.
No, I'm taking the Bengals at home against the Steelers. I just think everyone's a little bullish on the Bengals.
I will say the biggest thing with the Bengals is we all know their biggest weakness. See, this is the difference in them and some of the other teams. We all know their biggest weakness was offensive line, and they did a ton to fix that offensive line. So if the offensive line plays like it should, like it's getting paid,
also they need the defense to be surprisingly good.
They need a repeat from that no-name defense again. But I think their offense is just, if they can block, which they're getting paid to block.
I'm not turning my back on Joey B.
I mean, it sounds like I'm writing you down for Steelers.
No, I said Bengals.
No one.
Eagles at the Lions. The Lions are only a 4-point dog at home.
The Lions are going to surprise some people this year. The Lions are going to win some football.
This is a tough game for Allen.
I know. It's just 2 teams.
He likes the Eagles, loves Eagles, likes the Lions.
I think the Lions are going to surprise some people. I think the Lions may win 6 or 7 ball games this year. I don't think it's this one, though. I think the Eagles come out and take care of business. But expect
think
the
the Lions
to
win this
put up a
football game.
fight. Oh, write it down.
I think the Lions win this football game.
Lions.
I
I'm
like the
going
Eagles. Shout out to my boy T Brown when he comes to town. I'm gonna go watch him play the Cardinals. He's gonna give me tickets, so gotta always shout him out. But I don't know. I think Lions at home, first game. It's gonna be a close football game. This one could be a coin flip, but I'm gonna stick with my pick and go with the Lions.
Lions are going to be a lot better this year than they have been in the recent past, but I don't think
We'll see how good Hurts does, because Hurts could have one of those games where he's just
we'll see. He's got AJ Brown now though, so
he does have AJ Brown.
so
That dude, AJ Brown.
Devonta Smith as a number 2 is a pretty good outlook compared to last year.
Crazy. You know what?
Nope, it's written down. It is in stone, my friend. It cannot be erased.
Start watching football. I've watched enough Jalen Hurts to know what he's about. So, no matter how good you think your football team is, you're still led by a very average quarterback.
Dun dun dun. Uh-oh.
We're gonna move on to the Patriots Dolphins.
Who do you think I'm going to pick?
Dolphins are playing at home at the Miami Gardens, Florida.
Who do you think I'm picking?
They're a 3.5-point favorite.
Shocking that they're a favorite all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly surprising that they've become a favorite in this football game. I sent you the picture that I saw yesterday. NFL Network had every single one of their people pick the Dolphins to win, and that's never a good sign. That's never a good sign. But I'm still going with the Dolphins. I still think they win this game. You know what I'm getting real tired of? I've been hearing this narrative so much in the last week or two is how much young quarterbacks struggle against Bill Belichick. They keep saying it over and over again on national television. Tua is 3-0.
I mean,
Bill Belichick.
I think you look at the rosters. I think the Dolphins definitely have a better roster. I think it's gonna be a tight game, though. I think the Dolphins end up winning by like 2 or 3 points.
It's always a close game.
It's always a close game, and I think the Patriots never do well traveling down. It's gonna be hot. And going and getting, I think Miami wins
by 100.
Right. I don't know about that. Don't know about that. Hey, listen, I am rooting for Tua. I really hope he does well. Ravens Jets.
I mean,
at the Jets.
Remember how I said the Falcons are one of the worst teams in the league?
Yeah.
The Jets are also one of the worst teams in the league. The Ravens are going to win the football game.
Ravens run rampant. I think this one's going to be a 28-10 ball game.
There's slight hope in New York that Zach Wilson will play. I don't think it matters.
I mean, for him to throw some picks, okay.
That's exactly where my mind's at. I think Joe Flacco revenge game, they have a chance. They have a puncher's chance in a Joe Flacco revenge game. But Zach Wilson's out there.
Jaguars versus the Commanders.
This is not going to be a good football game.
Well, Washington's a 2.5-point favorite.
That's going to be a bad game.
Say it. I'm picking the Jaguars in this game.
I'm picking the Commanders.
Okay.
I don't have anything to base that off of other than I just know the Jaguars are not good.
Remy is not going to pick an underdog, apparently, and he just thinks that everyone who's favored to win the football games.
Dude. I know things. And we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this next week, and when I'm undefeated, then you'll know.
Okay.
So
Colts, Texans.
The Commanders.
I know. It's tough.
Colts, Texans. Colts. Handedly.
Colts. By more than 7 points. I feel like 7 points, they're just, I don't know.
It's a little disrespectful.
Yeah. Giants, Titans. Titans at home, 5.5-point favorite.
Until I can see Daniel Jones play like a starting quarterback in the NFL, it's going to be very tough for me to pick them to win games. I got to see if Saquon's healthy. So I'm going to not go with the Giants. I'm going to go Tennessee. You're thinking pretty hard on this one, bud. You going Giants?
No, I'm thinking about other things. Sorry, Tennessee.
I
I was looking at the
saying,
NFC.
You were deep in thought there for a second. I was like,
Yeah, no,
uh-oh.
I was thinking about something else. Sorry.
You're back on that Danny Dimes bandwagon.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Moving on to the Packers Vikings. Hey, this might be a good football game.
This is going to be a good game.
1.5 point favorite for the Packers on the road.
I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm going with the Packers in that one.
You fool.
But yeah, that's a coin flip ball game. Both of those teams they have interesting rosters.
I can't wait to see what Green Bay looks like. I can't wait to see because Christian Watson, the rookie, missed most of training camp with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lazard's had an injury. Like their number one receiver coming in is going to be Randall Cobb. And it's just like, I understand how good Aaron Rodgers is. I get it. I've said for the last couple of years, he's clearly the best quarterback in the NFL. You don't win 4 MVPs without being the best quarterback in the NFL. I just don't see where it's going to come from this year. Sammy Watkins and Alan Lazard are his 1 and 2. Like, I just don't see it. And it's not like he has, a stud at Robert Tonyan at tight end. I just don't see it. I think they're going to have to run the ball. I think the Packers are going to have to run the ball to be a good team this year. And I don't know. I don't see Aaron Rodgers putting up tremendous numbers with that receiving core.
Sorry, I'm writing down my bold predictions because I haven't done that yet.
You're making them up on the fly, huh?
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We have to pick against each other in some. Chiefs at the Cardinals. The Chiefs are a 6.5 point favorite.
I also have concerns about the Chiefs, if I'm being honest. I have some concerns. I will always have concerns about the Cardinals as long as Cliff Kingsbury is their head coach. But no one is better than early season Cliff Kingsbury with the Cardinals. I'm picking the Cardinals to win the game.
I think I'm going to pick the Chiefs. And I want to pick the Cardinals. This is going to be a really close game, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs in that one. Raiders-Chargers.
Good football game.
Good football game.
Really good division.
I got a little I got some Chargers stuff in my bold prediction, so I'm not going to give too much away in that yet, but I think the Chargers win this game.
I am also going to take the Chargers, but I do think it's going to be a
It's going to be a good
football game.
I like the Raiders. I'm pulling for them, but I think the Chargers. I think they have something up their sleeve this year.
So we get Devontae Adams. First game as a Raider versus J.C. Jackson. Or is J.C.'s hurt or is he playing?
I'm not sure.
I think he's playing. So we get Devontae Adams versus J.C. Jackson, both new homes. Week 1, if they're both playing. I think JC's playing. So we shall see, but I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. That division this whole year is going to be wild to watch. I can't wait. AFC West about to be
what time is it again? 5:20 kick. So yeah, Thursday, by the way, while we're talking, we're going to do some fantasy stuff, but we're also going to watch the football game together for a little bit. We'll have it up because our stream would be, but we're going to watch along and kind of talk about the plays and stuff, and also talk some fantasy football on Thursday. So that stream will be going live at 5 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday on Remy's time. So I cannot wait for, I think it's November or the end of October, where I gain an hour.
You gain that hour back.
Because I need it very, very badly. Your boy's tiring it out. Buccaneers, Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. What's up? What's up, Cam? Chargers all day. Shout out to Cam. I work with him. He's a giant Chargers fan.
Those don't exist. What you just said, that's not a real thing.
He is a giant.
He's one of the 8?
Hey, Cam, stick around for the bold predictions at the end of all of this. You're gonna like to hear what I got to say. Buccaneers, Cowboys.
I think the Buccaneers win the game, but their offensive line scares me. All the injuries to the interior of that offensive line, and we all know the one way you can frustrate Tom Brady is by getting pressure in his face from up the middle. Like that's the one thing he struggles against.
Mhm.
And their entire interior offensive line is new. Both guards and center are new. So I still think they win the game, mainly because Dallas's offensive line is also kind of in some shambles right now. But I'm interested to see how that plays out. I want to see how how Tampa Bay's offensive line holds up. But I am taking the Buccaneers to win the game.
Okay. Taking the Bucs when I'm taking the boys at home.
I didn't realize you were a Cowboys fan, dude.
Taking the boys at home in that one. I'm kind of out on the Bucs.
I never took you for a Cowboy.
I'm kind of out on the Bucs this year.
You learn new stuff.
Their offensive line is pretty bad, and we'll see about old Timmy Brady. In Monday night, we have a revenge game. The Broncos playing at Seattle. And, of course, Russell's revenge game.
Let's ride.
Terry may get 2 right all weekend. Alan.
I hope that's not the case because we do have a bunch of the same.
Alan, I hope I have a really good weekend. And I want your ass to show right back up here next Tuesday. And I'm going to be like, Alan Goodman.
I'm going undefeated. So
you know nothing. Broncos versus Seattle. I think the Broncos win this game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very close. So ESPN did this thing. I went and looked at it today. And they basically they matched up all the quarterback matchups for every week of the season, right?
Yeah.
So they go, okay, week 1, Geno Smith versus Russell Wilson, and they did like their projections for like what the stats are going to be and all that stuff. I'm going to read this out to you. Let me find this article because this was wild to me. So they put them side by side, like what they expect week 1 from Russ and what they expect from Geno. If it takes me too long to find the exact article, I'll just kind of tell you basically what it said. They had their stats being shockingly close.
I'm not. I'm not about to waste any time.
When I say shockingly close, I mean I want to say they had Russ going like 24 for 32 passing for 240 yards and a touchdown. And then they had Geno going like 22 of 35 for 230 something yards and a touchdown. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that matchup we get Geno Smith hanging up the same numbers that Russ is about to put up on Seattle. You're crazy.
No. Cameron says, any thoughts on the Broncos taking a while to get their brand new system from the top down ironed out? I think they're going to hit the ground running, dude, to be honest with you.
I just think the talent on that offense, Sutton, Judy, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. I just think, even KJ Hamler is the third wide receiver. A lot of people like the tight end there. I can't pronounce his name, but people like him too. So I just think the talent's too much for them to struggle that bad. They might have some of that preseason rust we talked about, just because no one played any of their starters. But that offense is going to be good. That offense is going to be really good.
I think it's going to be a good football team. I think, like I said, I think Russ is just too he's an elite quarterback, man.
Dude, we speak it into existence.
Yeah.
We said for the longest time, get Aaron Rodgers to Denver and watch what happens.
Then we kind of audibled.
We get Russell Wilson. We get Russell Wilson there. And, boy, I think that offense is going to be special.
I think the offense is going to be good, and I think the defense also they have some players on defense.
There's already people saying Patrick Surtain's top 10 corner in the entire league.
He's really good.
He is very
good. What's really insane? He's really good, and J.C. Horn is probably better.
They're both very good.
Yes, very good.
Very good rookie corners from last year.
So that being said, Remy, what's your outlook on the Buffalo Bills this year?
I still think they win the AFC East.
Okay.
I think they float around that 12 win mark. I think when we did their breakdown, I think I said 12 wins, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So I still think they are one of the best teams in the AFC. I'm not going to sit here and say they're going 14-3, like some people are, but I think 12 wins is a good fit. 12-5, win the AFC East, probably be the 1 or 2 seed
Okay.
out of the AFC.
Well,
The AFC is going to beat each other up this year. If you look at the conference as a whole, is wild. So
okay.
I think 12-5 and still maybe the 1 seed.
Yeah. All right. Before we start breaking down, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through every team and we're gonna give our outlook on the team. Also, look out for NFL Spotlight. We're also gonna release those as well, where we break down rosters and we give rankings about toward their roster and stuff. So we're still releasing those and recording those after we get off the air here. We're gonna do our bold predictions now, and then we're gonna start to go through the teams because we're gonna give away some of our predictions and stuff. So it just makes sense to do it now. And Remy, you want to start with number 5?
So this is our deep dive into the top 5. We are going to go 5 bold NFL predictions for this upcoming season. I went from least bold to most bold with my predictions. Yeah. Okay. So my number 5 prediction is that the Vikings will win the NFC North. They will beat out the Packers and win the NFC North this year.
Okay. See, this is why we did this now. So then when we talk about it, you can be like, remember about my bold. My number 5 is Josh Allen wins the MVP. Not really a bold one. That's why it's number 5, but you got to get MVP. MVP are on the board. And my number 4 is Tom. This is Tom Brady's last year of NFL. I think he retires after this year.
Yeah, I don't have that as a bold prediction because I just fully believe that is going to happen. Of course, he flirted with retirement this past year. I don't think this year is going to be as smooth for Tampa Bay, so I do think this was also his last year.
Okay.
My number 4 bold prediction for this year, CeeDee Lamb will top 1,500 receiving yards. I think that offense likes. I think that.
So you like the boys?
I don't like the boys. I know they like to throw the ball, and no Amari Cooper. Excuse me, no Amari Cooper, no Michael Gallup to begin the season. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to have a monster statistical season.
I wonder who this could be.
2 losses to the Patriots.
What's up, Raj? But yeah, so all right, so that was your number 4?
Number 4, CeeDee Lamb, 1,500 receiving yards.
Okay, how about number 3?
My number 3, and it's a little bit of a homer one on this one. Tua Tagovailoa tosses for over 4,000 passing yards and 30 passing touchdowns.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. We'll see. I'm hoping.
And he wins the MVP. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not predicting MVP, but
my number 3 is the Chiefs finished 3rd in their division.
Wow. I mean, very possible.
The Chiefs will finish 3rd in their division. And my number 2 is the Chargers make the Super Bowl.
Chargers Super Bowl bound.
Super Bowl bound. The Chargers will make the Super Bowl this year.
It's going to be crazy. They're going to be playing in playoff games in front of tens and tens of people.
Shout out Cameron. There you go, buddy.
That's a bold one right there, son. My number 2 bold prediction for the upcoming NFL season. We will have not 1, but 2 2,000-yard rushers, and they will both come from the same division in Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. I think they both crack the 2,000-yard mark.
It's crazy.
It's a bold prediction. It's
crazy.
It is.
It's pretty good. I like it. And
you want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean, mine's not that bold, but
my one I think is pretty bold. Okay. And I might catch some flack for this one. My bold prediction for the year is that the New England Patriots win 6 games and that Bill Belichick retires after the season.
Holy shit. Now that's a prediction. That's a bold prediction.
That is bold prediction numero uno. 6 wins, and Bill Belichick, who has nothing left to prove, calls it a career.
My number one bold prediction, and it's just because I'm calling the shot of the Super Bowl, the Rams repeat.
Haven't had a repeat in a while.
Look at, man, here we go. What a shout. Great take. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, listen, they're bold predictions. But that one's definitely happening. The Patriots only win 6 games, and Bill Belichick is out.
There you go.
It only makes sense. Belichick and Brady retire at the same time, and we can all go on to living normal, happy lives again.
Remy, that's crazy.
The rest of us can live happy lives once again.
That's nasty work by Remy Brennan right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Write it down. It's happening.
All right, so we're going to go back to what we're going to kind of do a light breakdown of every team, just kind of what we think is their outlook. We're not going to talk about rosters or numbers or anything, but what about the Rams?
Rams, I think, clearly top team in the NFC. I think that as long as Matt Stafford's arm is healthy, which there are concerns about that with the elbow injury, they said it's more like a pitcher injury. I think the Rams will, tough division, but I still think they come out as the 1 seed in the NFC. I think that is a probably 13, 14 win team.
Okay.
1 seed in the NFC.
I like the Rams. I clearly said they're going to win the Super Bowl. So I think it's kind of a two-prong attack where the Rams are probably the best team in the NFC, and the NFC is very down compared to the AFC. So
it is.
We'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, I like the team. Team's loaded with talent all over across the board.
I just don't see where they got worse in a lot of places, and I do see where they've made some improvements. And I mean, okay. I just think they're prepared.
Allen Robinson's a ball player.
That's the big one. Is Allen Robinson? And there's still talks of OBJ when he gets healthy may come back to the team. We'll see. But I think Allen Robinson's a stud.
How about the Cleveland Browns?
Tough year, I think, for Cleveland. I know I picked them to dominate your Panthers in week 1. Just kidding. But I think it's going to be until Deshaun Watson comes in, you're throwing Jacoby Brissett out there for a long time. As a Dolphins fan, he's not good. I think I said that they win 6 games, and that's pushing it. I don't think they win a ton of games with Brissett in.
This roster is really talented. From top to bottom, it's an insanely good roster. Their quarterback position is just terrible. So,
and we got to see if Deshaun. I mean, I don't doubt Deshaun's still good, but we're talking.
He can play football in 2 years.
2 years of rust.
Yeah,
might be a little tough to kick off.
So, yeah, I agree with you on that. On the Browns, I'll take the Panthers. We're going to talk about the Panthers here. I think that they are talent-wise, are kind of in the same situation as the Browns with roster talent. I definitely think we have a better quarterback at the Panthers, but I think the coaching staff drops us back a couple wins and will make us a very below-average football team. If Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, anything's possible, but we've yet to see that really happen the past couple of years. So I'm going to say that I think the Panthers have another lackluster year, and maybe we fire our coach. Maybe we don't. Who knows?
That was the question I had. Do you win enough for Matt Rule to keep his job?
He's going to try. I hope not.
How many wins? Give me a number.
6.
6. Fair. Your team's good enough to win some games. So I think that's a fair number.
Mm-hmm. How about the Aints? The New Orleans Aints.
The Aints are just a massive question mark for me because I like the defense. I like the playmakers. I don't love the quarterback, but he can sling it. We know he can throw it around. It's just how many times does he throw it to the right team versus the wrong team.
I think they win the division.
You think they win the division?
I think they win the division.
I'm not high on the Bucks, but the Bucks are, I think, still the better team out of them. But I do think this team's good enough to win 9 ball games.
And
I
that'll
think
win the
they're.
division. I think the Bucks are
Jeez.
going to take a big
You
step
are
backwards.
off the Bucks
I
bandwagon,
am
big
off.
time.
I am out of
All
there.
right. I think it's a 9-win team. I think their offense is going to be very explosive. I mean, depending on the Kamara situation, Michael Thomas may be back, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave. I think there's just a lot of weapons there.
Their defense is good, dude.
and their
They have a
defense
really
is
good
very
defense.
good. Yep.
Okay. How about the Falcons?
Awful. Very bad team. Young, at least they committed fully to the rebuild that I said they should have committed to completely last year. They did move on from Julio. I thought they should have moved on from Matt Ryan a year earlier. It looks like they are fully committed to the rebuild now. I think this is a 3-win football team.
Yeah, I say 3 or 4 wins for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Four.
Maybe 4.
They'll probably, maybe 4, maybe 3. I don't know. That's right around that wheelhouse, though. Not a great team, not a great run game, not a great quarterback, not a great defense, just not a great football team. It's just pretty bad.
A lot of holes.
How about the 49ers?
49ers, great team. Massive question mark at the quarterback position. I know what their hope is. Their hope is that his ceiling is higher than Jimmy Garoppolo's. I do like that they found a way to keep Garoppolo.
I think this is a playoff team.
I do think they are a playoff team. I will say they're going to have a little bit of growing pains, but I think they win 10 to 11 football games, make the playoffs.
I agree with that.
I mean, the division's going to beat the shit out of each other. But
right. I agree with that.
10 wins,
10,
I think
10 will get you into the NFC.
Get them in.
There's going to be some 10-win AFC teams that don't get in. But the Bears.
Long season ahead. Just too many question marks. Like I said, I feel for Justin Fields because I get what it's like having a young quarterback and not putting the weapons around him to succeed. I mean, Mooney's a good player. He's not. I don't look at him as like a top tier wide receiver 1. I think he's a good player. I think Montgomery's. I'm a little wishy-washy on Montgomery. I just don't see a ton of splash plays out of him. So I don't think they have the weapons around Fields that he really needs to flourish. So I don't think they're going to be a good team. I think they're in that 4 to 5 win area. I think they're right there close to where the Falcons are.
Yeah. They probably have the same roster too.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Bears have a little bit of roster, so that's why I'm going to give them the 4 to 5 instead of the 3 to 4.
They got some pieces, but just not enough.
Yeah, they have we'll see. It's going to be a long year for the Bears. The Eagles.
I actually like the Eagles this year.
Okay.
I think the Eagles are going to win the division. I think they are going to be one of the best running teams in the league. And then you add an A.J. Brown. Like, to me, when you go from – because Miami's in a very similar situation. Devontae Smith all of a sudden is your number 2 receiver. You add A.J. Brown. They already have Goddard.
It's tough. This roster is really good. They have compiled a really good roster. I really like what they've done, the Eagles. We'll see if Jalen Hurts can put it together. But with that being said, I really like this roster, dude. And they in the NFC,
they are good.
They are good, dude. They could
Hurts
go deep.
just needs to not lose games. Is all it really comes down to. He can run. They're going to have one of the best rushing attacks in the game because they've got Hurts with Sanders and Gainwell. They're going to run the ball well.
Dude, they could very easily go to the NFC Championship game.
They could. They run. They play defense. They could. Their defense is stacked too. I mean, they add James Bradbury as a number 2 corner. They draft Jordan Davis out of Georgia to go on that defensive line. The team's pretty stacked. I think they're going to fall between 11 and 12 wins. Probably I lean towards 12 to win the division.
I'm gonna go 11, and it's gonna be tight. I think them and the Cowboys are gonna kind of battle it out a little bit. I think this is a way better roster than the Cowboys team. I think the Cowboys have a way better quarterback. So we'll see how that ends up shaking out. But I like the Eagles actually. Their roster is really, really talented. So we'll see. I think it's just one of those things. Like I picked the Lions to win. On the road, week 1, we'll see. We'll see. If they can go in, if they lose the Lions, then now you're like, it's got to be kind of one of those things. But, they go on the road and get a win. Now we're talking. But like I said, I like the Eagles in their roster. The Lions.
I think I touched on a little earlier. I think they surprised some people with more wins than we're accustomed to seeing.
Right.
I don't think they're a playoff team. I do think they win 6 to 7 ball games, though.
They're like a Panthers team,
You gotta remember too. Like, they didn't win a ton of games last year, but they were in some games, dude. They should have won a couple of more games than they did. What was it? The Justin Tucker 64-yard field goal to beat them, and the next week was like another 50-something yard field goal to beat them.
They play tough. They play out their head coach.
They do, and I think that the talent is coming along a little bit more. If they can get Jameson Williams back at some point in the season, I think this team wins 7 ball games. I think they're a middle of the pack team this year.
I agree. Actually, I think they're going to win 7 football games this year. So they have a kind of sneaky decent roster. And Jared Goff's not a world beater by any means, but he at this point, who he is. Mm-hmm. I really like Swift. I like their passing game. I like some of their. I like their offensive line. Actually, I think they have a decent offensive line. They have maybe the best left tackle in the game, which we'll see. But I'm telling y'all guys, I know you haven't watched him, but you gotta tune in at least one time and watch their left tackle play football.
You gotta watch him.
He is built diffy. He is nasty. He's an animal, and we'll see how that D line looks for the Lions. Going on the Patriots, you kind of already touched on them a little bit. You think that they're going to have a down year. I like Mac Jones. I think he has a possibility of being really good. I just don't like this team, man. I just don't like this roster is just not what it used to be. And it's been that way it's trending that way for a while now, actually. They can only win for so long. You can only be at the top for so long.
My knock is not Mac Jones. I don't think Mac Jones is a bad football player. What I think is bad is Matt Patricia and Joe Judge running an offense that's top playmakers are Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne. I just don't love it. I don't think that they have enough firepower
to hang.
And I think their defense takes a step back. They've lost a lot of those names that have just been, stalwarts for the Patriots over the past few years. I think their secondary's bad. I think their secondary's very bad. Yeah. I think they're going to struggle. I think 6 wins is where I have. Like I said,
I had them at 7
prediction, but I think it's.
I had them at 7. Close. I think 7 or 8 is where I had them at. But yeah, I think this is a kind of a. If this was anybody else coaching this roster, they'd be like, "Bear, this is kind of not a great football team."
If it wasn't Bill Belichick, people would look at this team and go, "That's not a very good team."
Yeah. The Dolphins.
I keep getting caught up in. I want to say the Dolphins are a playoff team. I want to say they're a playoff team, and then I look at the rest of the AFC. I'm like, that's going to be really tough to do.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard. I think Miami goes 10 or 11 wins. And if the AFC West can beat the shit out of each other, I think they can squeak into the playoffs. But that's kind of where I put them. 10 to 11, I have questions. I do have massive questions. I still don't know what this offensive line is going to look like. They got beat up pretty bad in run blocking in the preseason. Mm-hmm. We did improve the running back position tremendously between Edmonds and Mozart. We added some pieces to the offensive line, still some holes there. Tyreek Hill is unreal what he can do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, throw in Waddle as the number 2 receiver. Wilson is the number 3. Gesicki out there catching passes. This offense has all the potential in the world. We already know the defense is full of playmakers. I think they could be a very good team.
You're not going to like what I got to say.
Damn, just because I picked the Browns to beat y'all.
No, bro. I think you win 10 ball games.
And don't make the playoffs.
I think you're not. I think you're going to be one of the teams looking
it's
in.
It's going to be tough to be a playoff team in the
It's going to be tough. Year. Imagine how devastating that's going to be.
I mean, it happens. It's happened to me the last 2 years in a row. Yeah. We won 10 ball games 2 years ago, didn't make the playoffs. We literally went into week 17 last year, owning our own destiny, and we got destroyed and didn't make playoffs again by 1 game. So it's been 2 years in a row it's happened to me. But that's where my hope is. Is like the last 2 years we've been one game away from being a playoff team, and I think we're tremendously better as far as on the offensive side. So I have hope.
Speaking of a team that you're going to be fighting for a playoff berth to, how about the Baltimore Ravens?
Oh, man, the AFC North is a wild place as well. So if you look at the AFC North and the AFC West, there's going to be I think both divisions have a legit shot at just like 3 10-win teams, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think Baltimore kind of falls into that same area. There's still injury concerns in Baltimore, and they need some players to go back to what they were.
The parity in the AFC is pretty wild.
It is
like top parity. It's not like bad parity. It's good parity.
The AFC North and the AFC West, other than Cleveland's quarterback situation, all of those teams are good football teams. Mm-hmm. Every one of them. But when I look at Baltimore, I think they need Stanley to come back healthy at left tackle, and they need Marlon Humphrey. Yeah, but I mean, they need him to be not.
Bro, that offensive line's good.
They need Ronnie Stanley to go back to being one of the best left tackles in football, because even when he did play last year, he struggled a little bit. Mm-hmm. Same with Marlon Humphrey at corner. I think they need Marlon Humphrey to go back to being one of the better corners in the league, because he also struggled last season when he played. But I still think that the roster is good enough. If they can get their running game back up and going, you know, Dobbins still coming back from injury, Gus Edwards coming back from injury. They did add Kenyon Drake as a little Band-Aid to get them through. I still think they're a good team. I'm stuck between 9 to 10 wins. I think 10. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be around 10 because they're just going to beat each other. So give me something like that. I'll say 9 to 10 wins.
Yeah. I think they're a mid-10-win team. I think they squeak in. I don't know. I say that, and it's just tough. The AFC is tough.
It's my big concern for them, and I've said it on this before, outside, and I get Mark Andrews, no questions there. Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends.
I just think this is a team where you got to look kind of beyond the roster, and it's kind of a gritty, grindy. I see it, and I think that this is
well coached.
They're
a well coached team.
They have a really good special teams unit. Like, I think that this team squeaks it out. I think they squeak it out. They squeak in the playoffs.
I just struggle saying when your number 2 wide receiver is Devin Duvernay. It drives me nuts. Why did you trade Hollywood Brown?
Yeah.
And then not replace him.
How about the Jets?
Long year ahead for the Jets. I don't like the Jets in really any facet. They're going to be right there. I think 3 wins. They're going to be fighting for the number 1 pick. I just don't. Zach Wilson. I've never been a big Zach Wilson guy. I just don't see it. I don't see what I guess other people see. Offensive line is riddled with injuries and holes. I don't know. Young wide receivers maybe step up. I just don't love it. Defensive-minded head coach in the first place. Defense has some questions. I think Sauce will be good. You know?
Yeah.
So there's some hope. I think Sauce will be a good football player.
This is a bad football team. They win 4 football games.
Fair.
How about that? How about the Jacksonville Jaguars? Speaking of not a great football team.
I see another long season in Jacksonville. I don't, like I said, I think there's some improvement. Because while I don't love the moves that they made for their playmakers, I still think they are an upgrade from what they had last year. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a 5-win team. I just don't think it's a very good team still.
I think they take a little step. I think it's a 5. I think it's 6. Okay. I think that I kind of like what they're doing their roster a little bit. I want to hope that they take a step at quarterback. I hope that Trevor takes a step forward, but we'll see. 5 or 6, though, yeah. I think I like their offensive line. I like their D-line. I like their linebackers in particular.
Yeah,
they have some stout.
Zay Jones has got to prove, or not Zay Jones. Christian Kirk's got to prove he's a number 1. Christian Kirk's got to prove he's a number 1, and
which I don't think he is.
I mean, I just don't think he is.
So I don't think he's.
It's a team full of number 2s.
How about Jags go 3-14 defense? It's a big question. I think the defense is not the question mark.
I think the defense is fine.
Yeah,
I think the defense will be fine. Their secondary's not good. But the
Their
big question
front.
mark, their front seven's very solid. The secondary leaves some questions. But I think the offense is where they spent all that money on the offense.
Yeah.
And we just got to see if it pans out or not. And I just don't know if it will. I mean, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, that's a lot of money they spent on guys that I just don't think are very good.
I agree. How about the Washington Commanders? What do you think about them?
This is a tough one.
It's a tough one.
I don't like Carson Wentz, but he is an upgrade, I will say, over Taylor Heinicke, however you say his name. I think he is a slight upgrade there. The defense is the question, man. I went into last season thinking that defense was going to be the best defense in the league, and they just weren't. I think there's still a ton of talent. There's a little concern with Chase Young not being ready to come back yet. I think they are a 7-win team. 7 wins.
Yeah. Yeah, 7 wins. I think the defense is back. And I think that they go 7-10 as well.
It's just, I mean, Carson, I don't know, man. I can't put a ton of faith in Carson Wentz. He couldn't take the Colts to the playoffs last year. I think the Colts were a better team than what this year's Washington team is. So.
Okay. How about the Colts? Speaking of the Colts.
Colts, I think, to me, should be one of the favorites in the AFC as well. I put them up there. I think with the Bills, I think you put Matt Ryan.
AFC's fucking juggernaut.
It's nuts, dude. It's nuts. Crazy. The AFC is so stacked with good teams. I think the Colts are in my top tier in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I think they also are going to be right there with Buffalo in that 12 to 13 wins column. I've never been the biggest Matt Ryan fan, but he brings stability to the biggest position they need in the quarterback position. Wide receiver 2 is a little bit of a concern for me, but wide receiver 1 is not, running back is not, offensive line is not, defense is not. That team they're going to win games. They're going to win a lot of games.
Okay. I agree.
12, 13 right there.
I like the Colts. I think the Colts are going to be they have a really good year. Texans, not good. Bad football team.
Bad team.
3 wins. A lot of
games.
2 wins.
4 wins. Maybe.
2 to 3 wins for me. Not a good roster. What's up, Zach? How you doing, brother? Colts 6-11. Come on, man. You got to do better than that.
That's crazy. Colts are going.
That's wild. That's a bold prediction.
They're going to be the 1 or 2 seed in the AFC.
Giants.
The Giants just have so many question marks. Saquon is the main question mark year in and year out, it seems. Healthy Saquon. Maybe they win a couple of games. I'm off the Daniel Jones bandwagon. I was on it for a couple of years. I jumped off of it. And the team hasn't done anything to help him. And I get that. Like they have not done a good job building around him, but they still just haven't. So I think 5 wins, maybe 4. This is not a good team.
I'll give them 5. We'll give them 5. Titans.
I think Titans are still a good team. I do think they fall to the Colts in the division.
Which slips them back into maybe not getting in the playoffs. So I have them in that 10 to 11 win tier. Like I have a lot of these teams, which may or may not be a playoff team, but they are very good. We did their roster breakdown. Now they did lose Harold Landry literally the day after we recorded their spotlight, right?
Which is a big blow for them. I still think up and down the roster is good, and I'm never going to put anything past Derrick Henry because he could just go win games by himself.
Yeah.
So I do think they're still 10 to 11 win team. Maybe make the playoffs.
You take Derrick Henry off this team. They're
going to struggle, but if he stays healthy, they're going to be a problem.
Packers.
I think the Packers take that step back this year. I said that the Vikings win the division, and I do think the Packers take a step back. I think the Packers are a 9-win football team, and I do not think they make the playoffs.
My beard's clean. Hey, thanks, bro. Trying to grow it out, man. I appreciate it. Packers win 11 football games and win the division. I actually think, weirdly enough, they're going to somehow piece it together and have a better year this year with a way less talented football team.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Crazy. You're a crazy
Vikings.
guy. I think the Vikings surpass the Packers this year. I like Kirk Cousins. I've never been a Kirk Cousins hater. He's got to learn how to win a big game. I think the Packers win 10 games and win the division. One game more than the Packers.
I think they
and
can win
win
10
the
games. I think they're a wild card team. I think the Vikings can be a wild card team. We'll see. How about the Chiefs?
Oof. I think the Chiefs are still a very talented team. I do not have them as a top tier AFC team anymore. So I will put them at 11 wins. I think they may win the division with 11. That division's going to beat each other up. But I don't have them in that top tier with the Bills and the Colts. I have them just below that. I'll take them at 11 wins.
Okay.
Could still win the division, though.
I said they finished third in the division. So
And
I think
they could win 11 games and still
finish
in the
third.
division.
You're right.
I mean,
You're right.
they
I
could.
think they still make the playoffs, though. I think the 11's about right. I think coming up to the next couple teams here in a second. We'll talk about the Raiders first.
The Raiders, I love what they've done. I love the moves they've made. I just can't help but feel like the mistakes they've made in their draft picks are going to come back to kind of haunt them a little bit.
Mhm.
I think they're going to finish fourth in the division, but still be a very good team. I just think 9 wins and just last in the division,
Yeah.
which is insane.
They're going to be in a lot of football games. They're going to be at the 9-10 win mark. Maybe I'd probably say 9 because of how bad the division is. And they're just going to be not have enough compared to the other teams' power. Like the Chargers, speaking of which I said would go to the Super Bowl. I did say they'd lose it, but I did say they'd go. I think the Chargers come in second in the division and make a run at the Super Bowl. I think they win 12 football games this year.
The Chargers need to reverse some of their fortune with their coaching staff and the decisions that they make. Outside of that, the talent
And
on
stay
the team
healthy.
is crazy.
Stay healthy, of course.
They need to stay healthy. They need to not make dumb decisions late in football.
What's the win
games.
total?
11.
I say 12. How about the Buccaneers?
I do think the Bucs take a step backwards. I still think they do win the division. I do think they are still a playoff team. I'll put them 11 to 12. I still
10
think
wins.
I still think they're good.
10 wins for the Bucs. The Saints win 10, and the Saints win it.
Now the Saints are the Bucs' kryptonite, so we'll see.
I think the Saints win the division, so I think the Bucs win 9 to 10 ball games. Cowboys. I actually like the Cowboys this year compared to how weak the other the NFC is.
Yeah,
I think that their roster is just not as good as the Eagles.
I think they compete with the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think they kind of stick around with the Eagles to fight for the division,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still the Cowboys. They're going to disappoint when it comes to the end of the season. 10
they could
wins,
make the
9, 10
playoffs.
wins. They could. No, they very well could. The roster screams playoffs.
Right.
But it's the Cowboys. It's every year something happens.
I agree.
Something dumb happens, and they're just not as good as we expect them to be or that they should be. They do have Micah Parsons, so
he's an animal, bro.
Hey, I mean, holy shit.
Yeah,
He might win Defensive Player of the Year this year. Just saying.
Yeah, he is an animal. Seattle Seahawks.
Not a good team.
Not a good team.
Not a good team.
Just not good. They're going to win 5 football games. 4
I don't
or
even
5.
have them at 5. I have
4,
them. I mean, when you're
3.
When you're throwing Drew Lock or Geno Smith at me, you're a 2 to 3 win football team.
You think so? Who do you think finishes dead last in the NFL?
Seattle.
Really?
Geno Smith.
Dude, talking about a roster ready to bounce back, if they finish last, they get the number 1 overall pick.
If they get a quarterback they do have a lot. They have some pieces.
I'm saying they could bounce back a
They've
little bit
started
faster.
to
than
shed some of the older players off of the old roster.
If they have a really bad year, I think maybe they try to trade DK. I think they end up trying to trade DK.
DK might force his way out before the season's over.
I think they win 3 football games, and I think the Texans is the number 1 overall pick. And of course the Broncos. I think the Broncos win the division. I think they win 13 football games.
I think the Broncos are my last top tier AFC team. I think they win 12 to 13 games. I think your top tier AFC teams are the Bills, Colts, and the Broncos. I think those are the 3 top tier teams.
I think they're the Bills, Colts, Broncos, and Chargers.
Could be.
I think the Chargers are going to be right there with each other.
AFC West is a wild.
Think about the teams that got to make it though. You have the Ravens, you have the Titans, you have the Chargers and Chiefs, and
Bengals, Steelers,
Dolphins.
I mean, hell, even the Patriots. I don't think they're going to be that good, but who knows?
Dude.
I mean, the
NFC is cracked, dude.
The AFC is going to be a wild race to make the playoffs this year. So we'll see, man. I'm on the same page with you. There might be an 11-win team that don't make the playoffs.
Dude,
I mean, it's crazy. Like I said, so all right, if we just look at the divisions, the East, I think, is going to be Buffalo and Miami are going to be the 2 good teams there. Those are 2 teams I think have playoff potential. The entire AFC North, outside, I think Cleveland's going to struggle because of the quarterback thing. So 3 of those teams I think are legit playoff contending teams. The AFC South has 2 in the Colts and the Titans. And then the AFC West, all 4 teams could make the playoffs. So you're going to be fighting for playoff position.
Yeah, it's scrapping and clawing.
Yes.
For sure.
Now, I said that, and then I look at the Bengals, and I'm like, Joe Burrow's my guy, dude.
I'm telling you, I think it's going to be hard for the Bengals to repeat what they got. Now, that being said, I still think they could win the division. They probably should win the division.
I think they do win the division. I think they the Steelers are the team that I think the Browns, of course, come in last.
I think there's 2 teams.
Steelers drop down.
I think you're being a little nice to Steelers and including them in all those other names. I think it's 2. I think the Steelers are going to be a solid team.
7 wins for the Steelers. 7-win team. Maybe right there with the Browns.
Did we skip the Steelers and Bengals?
We did. We skipped the Steelers and Bengals.
Okay. Sorry about that.
We also skipped the or did we say the Cardinals?
We did.
Skipped the Cardinals.
Did we skip the Cardinals?
I think we did.
Well, the Cardinals are also one of those.
Bengals could be one of those top tier teams. I think maybe just below, because I do kind of agree. I think last year was a perfect storm. I mean, they did get in as a wild card,
right,
and make the run to the Super Bowl. But I do think they win the division this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and then
we did
Steelers, like I said, 7 wins. And
what do you think the Cardinals win total? 10? I think they win 10 and get in a wild card or something.
9 to 10.
I think 10 to 11, if I'm honest.
I don't love Cliff Kingsbury. I just don't.
I don't love Kyler Murray.
I think the talent is wild. I just don't love Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach.
Oh, well, that is the NFL breakdown. We look forward to we're gonna write some of these down. We're gonna save them. Maybe next week we can get a guy, one of you fans, to come on. Maybe we'll post it. 2 requirements we'll need you to have is a microphone and a camera. And we'll start doing our picks where we'll go head to head. Whoever we pick will play against me and Remy. You have to beat both of us. You got to beat us both. So we'll do our picks for that. Maybe we'll start that next week.
Matt has thrown us out here twice. Just real quick, offensive and defensive rookies of the year. It's always kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know how much people are going to be targeted in their offenses. I
think
go ahead.
Offensively, maybe the wide receiver for the Titans,
Treylon Burks.
I think Treylon Burks, he has some big shoes to fill, and if he can fill them anywhere decent enough, then maybe he wins.
I I like Treylon Burks. I'm going to go a little off the beaten path here. My offensive rookie of the year pick is Kenneth Walker for Seattle, the running back. I think they're going to have to rely on him to do some big things.
How about defensive?
Defense?
Maybe Hutchinson.
Hutchinson is the obvious choice because he is a pass rusher who will play immediately.
Yeah. That's why I'm thinking Hutchinson.
Yeah. I'm going to go Hutchinson just because if he gets 9 sacks.
Right. Which I think he can.
Which he easily could. I think that'll put him right there. I wouldn't put it past Sauce. I mean, I think Sauce is going to be a good football player. I hate the Jets, but I think they did get a good football player there. But if I were a betting man, I would say Aiden Hutchinson.
I agree. Well, that was a fun time. We'll, of course, come back, and Thursday we'll have a little fantasy stuff. We'll sit down. We'll talk some football. Maybe we'll even talk some more about some matchups for this coming up week.
Set your lineups.
Yeah, everyone go ahead and set the lineups. Make sure they don't have a Thursday.
Football's back in 2 days.
2 days, ladies and gentlemen. We are happy. We are a happy pod, that's for sure. I'm gonna get out of here and probably watch some Braves. The Braves are 1 game back, by the way. Shout out to the Atlanta Braves. Mets, we're coming for your asses.
It's not a baseball pod.
This is a baseball pod.
Football pod today.
It'll always be a baseball pod. All right. But no, I appreciate everybody stopping in, hanging out, letting us run a little long here, talking some football. We appreciate you guys. Hey, I know we got some new guys in here. We know what we're talking about. I don't want to toot our own horns.
We're good. We're good.
We're good. We're small time. We like to interact with everybody. Y'all gotta know people that is like, hey, I know these 2 big boys who talk about sports a lot. Y'all should tune in. Send us.
I know you got some people that like football. I mean, I don't think we're going out on a limb saying that we know some people that like football.
Send us their way. We appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Let them jump in the chat. We can just tell them how wrong they are.
Look out for the tweets and stuff for who we're going to pick. We're going to just say, maybe drop us a like or something if you want to get into, and we'll do like a live generator maybe on Thursday or something, or we'll pick somebody to do picks for next Tuesday. So our schedule is Thursday. We'll talk some fantasy football for a little bit. We'll watch the football game on the other monitor, and kind of talk a little bit about that, kind of just hang out. And next Tuesday, we will have NFL Week 1. We'll be talking about Week 1. We'll get ready for Week 2. We'll talk some college football. It's pretty much just going to be it's just going to be a football podcast going on for a little while because it's just so much we got to cram in an hour or 2 time. And we're also going to try to record these spotlights. It's been a little bit pain in the butt because of the situations, time differences and stuff. It's a killer. But we appreciate everybody hanging out. Let's go Gamecocks. Fuck the Hogs. I'm just kidding, Matt. But Remy, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
Dude, fins up, baby. Shock the world. We winning the whole damn thing this year, baby.
I don't know about that.
Right. The left arm of
see
God will lead us
Thursday.
Peace.